Welcome back. You're still watching In the Game on News Central TV. Favor Itwa. It's time to talk about, of course, what went down on Wednesday in the history of sports in Nigeria. And talking about that, President Bola Tinubu on Wednesday appointed Shehu Dikko as the chairman of the National Sports Commission. Now, this appointment comes after the president scrapped the Ministry of Sports Development and had its functions transferred to the National Sports Commission in order to develop a vibrant sports economy. Now, the Minister of Sports Development, Senator John Owaino, was redeployed as the Minister of State for Trade and Investment. Now, Dikko, the Kaduna State-born football administrator, was the chairman of the league management company responsible for the management of the Nigerian Professional Football League. He previously served as a consultant for the Nigeria House of Representatives on Sports Committee. Dikko contested for the president of the Nigerian Football Federation in 2022, but later stepped down for Ibrahim Gusau, who emerged victorious. Joining us to talk about this development in the world of sport in Nigeria, of course, is a seasoned sports journalist, former media officer of the Flying Eagles of Nigeria. He's also a sports content creator. Andrew Randa joins us this afternoon all the way from Jos Plateau State, Nigeria. Good afternoon to you and welcome to In the Game.
Favor, thank you very much for having me on the show. And you look really nice, by the way.
Thank you very much. And longest time, I mean, it's been a while talking sport, but of course, I know for sure that the news that broke on Wednesday did, of course, give you some smiles when you look at what has happened in Nigerian sports. But I would like to ask you, what do you make of the move by the president of Nigeria, that's talking about Bola Tinubu, to bring back the National Sports Commission and scrap the Ministry of Sports Development?
It's something we've been advocating for the last 2 or 3 years, considering how sports has been in Nigeria in the past 4 to 5 years. Like the National Sports Commission back in the day had a way of bringing all the sports associations together under one umbrella for them to be able to function optimally. And unfortunately, it has not been the case in the past 3 to 4 years. And of course, all the things we saw leading to the Olympics and all that. So we've been clamoring for it, and I'm happy that the president has listened. And most importantly, he has appointed, for the first time since I've got as old as I am, a square peg hole or a round peg in a round hole. So what I mean is it actually fits. Shehu Dikko is somebody that's been in sports all his life. Like you actually said during the introduction, he's been LMC chairman, he's been NFF vice president, he's on the FIFA council, he's been on CAF. So he really has what it takes. And he's also a marketing person. He's been in the corporate world too. So it just means that a lot of things are going to change. And I'm hopeful that when Shehu Dikko comes on board, we're going to see the difference between what we used to talk about and what will happen in the nearest future.
All right, you've talked about already Shehu Dikko and his expertise in the world of sports at large. Now, let's look at this. Now, before now, we always have had a conflict of interest between the Minister of Sport and the DG, National Sports Commission. If you remember, the time of Danagogo, Elegbeleye, who was the DG. Once upon a time, we also had, the same, at a point in time, Solomon Dalong and Alassane Yakmot. But this time around, what do you think will be different when you look at, having just a single body responsible for administering sports in Nigeria?
First of all, I think that's the way to go. Unfortunately, in Nigeria, we allow our pride and our ego to come between what we need to do. And because of that, the athletes and the sport suffers. But this time around, I'm very impressed that the whole ministry has been moved into the National Sports Commission. So we're going to have one person that is going to be the leader. He is going to make the rules. He is going to make sure that things happen. So the clash of interest has already been eliminated. So that's one part. And the second part, again, is Shehu Dikko already. I spoke to him about 2 weeks ago and also yesterday. He already has a clear vision of what he wants to do when he was with the NFF. And of course, a lot of things happened at that point I wouldn't want to go into at this point. But this appointment by the president is a show of saying, listen, we really like what you're doing. We're really impressed with what you're doing. Go and do this. So he has presidential stamp of approval to go and implement what he wants to do. So it's really an exciting time for everybody in Nigerian sports. Shehu Dikko is somebody that loves to listen to people. He's not like some of the administrators who think they know everything. Shehu likes to grab ideas from everywhere and then put them into a tunnel and get the best of results. So personally, I'm super excited that he has the opportunity finally to be able to do the things that he thinks Nigerian sports should be able to do. At the point, it was about the NFF and Nigerian football. But right now, it's about sports in general in Nigeria. And I'm hoping that as time goes on, he will be given all that he needs to excel in this sports, especially the financial support. I've always told people, I've been in the game for a while, both outside and inside. I've seen a lot of things happen. Like you said, I was a former media officer of the Flying Eagles. I've seen how the system works in Nigeria, and finance is a key thing. And I'm hoping that everybody
Okay.
involved in the releasing of funds and other things will be able to support Shehu Dikko. So we're going to see the changes that we clamor for.
All right. Some persons have said that he's a football man, and this is about sport and not just football. Do you think he has the arsenals to pull off the task? I know fully well that it's not just about the round letter game of football. The federations will be involved. Everything about sports in Nigeria.
Like I said, if you know Shehu Dikko, he's always been a sports person, but he loves football. His family are vested in fives. I don't know if you heard about fives, the game. Way back in the 80s in Kaduna, Zaria, and other places in Nigeria. So he's always been a sports person, but with interest in football. He knows a lot about polo. He's been involved in athletics at a point. He's also done a bit of tennis. Personally, with his own personal funds, he's also done a bit of different things around grassroots sports. So athletics, primary school games, secondary school games, and different things like that. So yes, people know him more for football because of the positions that he's occupied, but he's a thorough sports person that's been involved in the background in other sports. So this, for now, is a key opportunity for him to actually bring what he's done before into the national stage and show what he can do.
Okay.
So yes, football is a specialty, yes, but I can tell you for certain that he's been involved in the background in different kinds of sports, even in provision of athletics materials for athletics infrastructure and athletics gear that people will use in and around Kaduna State. He's also sponsored a lot of athletics and basketball competitions, even tennis in Kaduna State. So, but obviously, like I said, a lot of people who don't know him from way back then, we think he's just a football person. Yes, he is. He's also had CAF and FIFA positions, but he's a sports person who has actually played the sport himself. I don't know if you've seen him play football.
Yeah,
you know that this person definitely
have
played some football in some parts of his growing up stage. So it's an exciting moment, and the prayer is that, what we're hoping for will actually come to fruition.
All right, and before I let you go, finally for me, the 2025 AFCON qualifiers is next month. The World Cup qualifier is next year. National Sports Festival is next year in Ogun State. Next year also, we have the Federation elections coming up. What do you think should be the focus for Dikko, knowing the timing is short and expectations are high?
Well, it's going to be very difficult for now, but I expect him that, especially for the qualifiers, he will have to trust the NFF to take care of that. And then after the qualifiers, I'm talking about the Nations Cup qualifiers now, by December, January, when he's fully on board, he'll be able to call everybody and say, listen, I need to know your plans. I need to know what you want to do, because the FIFA World Cup qualifiers are in March, but there's also the National Sports Festival. So all of that is not too much, because Honorable Olopade has done a lot pertaining the sports festival. So all he needs to do is for Shehu to just veto everything. But for international events, like you said, after the Africa Cup of Nations qualifiers, I'm hoping that by January, he will sit down with the NFF hierarchy and other sports associations, introduce himself, introduce his plans, listen to them, listen to what they have, listen to their budget, and then he'll be able to take decisive actions that will make sure that everybody gets what he needs to get. As per the election, I don't want to comment on that. I'm not a politician. I really don't even like the whole sports politics, but I think it's something he needs to be very, very careful about, because the past ministers have actually soiled their hands in the elections of the other sports associations, and it's backfired a lot. We don't want that. I'm hopeful that when I get to sit with him, I'll be able to tell him some of my own ideas and what I think should be done as per the elections. But I don't want him to be too much into it, such that he'll be overbearing like the other ministers, with due respect to them. So I'm hoping that things will pan out well. Again, don't forget, he's been in the system, so it's not going to be entirely new for him. So it's just a matter of him giving out responsibilities to those that have it, and then bringing out new people that he's been with on board to help him to sort out some of these things, so that by December, January, when he's fully on board, he will be able to implement some of his policies.
All right, well said, and we hope that he, of course, will have the right persons around him. Thank you very much, Andrew Randa, for your quality time, and of course, our support will also be on the current, chairman, hoping that sports move to the next level in Nigeria. Thank you very much for coming through.
Thank you, Favor. Have a lovely day.